USBC just posted its recap of 2025 and its look ahead towards 2026. So let's dig into the report and explain a little bit of what's all going on. For anyone who wasn't aware, USBC, the governing body of bowling, every single year puts out their State of the Association. This is a pretty detailed look into what all happened in 2025, the winners, the membership numbers, the money, everything and anything you can imagine, and then looks ahead towards 2026. So let's dig into this report, look into it so you guys don't have to read it, so you can just get the quick TLDR of what's all going on. Starting off the report are the USBC membership numbers for the last couple of years. So they always post the last like 4 or 5 years of membership numbers. I'll have them on the screen right now, but I'll also read them out. 2024 and 2025, we had 1,075,194 total USBC members. Compared to last year, it's a little bit lower. Last year was 1,093,000 total. Year before that, so we're back down into 2022, 2023, we were at 1,093,909. Then back in 21 and 22, we had 1,053,129. So we have regressed a little bit in the last couple of years. There can be multiple reasons for it, but overall, we're still over that 1 million plus number. The next thing they go through are the total number of teams that competed in the USBC Open Championships and the Women's Championships. Now, this is a very positive part of the report. This is a very important number for USBC because they mention in this report that over 90% of the total funds that come back to them are from the national tournaments and from membership dues. So that's where all their money comes from. So the more teams that go and bowl, the more money that USBC can put into different programs, which we're going to cover in about 5-ish minutes. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But let's look at the team numbers. So we're going to start on the Open Championship side. It was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it's always kind of iffy if teams end up going to one of these destination locations. Baton Rouge was weird because there was no actual airport in Baton Rouge. You had to fly to New Orleans and drive over to Baton Rouge, was generally the easiest way to do it, or just drive down to Baton Rouge. But they saw a very big spike in team numbers. So let's go through it. 2025, we had 11,684 total teams. That is the most amount of teams we've had in a couple of years now. 2024, we had 11,012 teams. 23, we had 9,565. And 2022, we had 9,317. 2022 generally is seen as like just that slight post-COVID number. So things took the steep decline and then they were working their way up. But being at over 11,000 is a fantastic number for that tournament. Then on the women's side, we also saw a good spike this year, a little bit lower than a couple of years ago, but let's go through the numbers. 2025, we have 4,099 teams. 2024, we had 3,668. So there's a big increase from last year. Year before that, though, we had 4,148 total teams. Year before that, we were at 3,155. One of the things that causes this number to sway quite a bit is actually if you're in Vegas or Reno. More teams generally go out to Las Vegas than they do to Reno. That's been a common thing for about 10 or 15 years now. And then the other more different destinations end up causing a decent spike sometimes or a decent decline in teams. It's always kind of iffy. Next in the report, they go through some of the big milestones, people who hit massive pin total numbers for the year. They go through the winners in the Open Championships and the Women Championships. I want to give a special nod to Kayla Pashina, who's from Minnesota, who ended up shooting, I think it was an 835. Yes, 836 in her doubles event. So she got her picture in here as well. And finally, they do a look ahead towards next season, towards 2026, and they're seeing a similar number of teams compared to what they had last year, which is a great sign. But they also mentioned they're bringing the 40-frame game back. So if you're going to the national championships this year, make sure to go bowl in the 40-framer. I know I'm going to try to find a shift around the time that I'm there so that you can go and bowl this event. I've never actually bowled it, so I'm kind of curious what it looks like. The next topic of the report is the PWBA Tour. They go through some of the big winners of the year, and the most notable event was the PWBA Anniversary Open. That was the event that happened in Green Bay at the same exact time as Junior Gold. That's when they filled up the entire stadium with all the Junior Gold bowlers and had the most attended event in PWBA history. So really cool to do that. Then they showcase some of the event winners. And it looks like in 2026, there's going to be 12 total title events going on the PWBA Tour. 3 majors and then 9 just regular tournaments, similar to the PBA Tour in that way, where some tournaments are more grandiose than others. So you're going to have 3 of those events and then 9 regular season events for the tour. Next up is the tournament section of the report, where they go through some of the other tournaments that USBC runs. And there's a lot more events than you'd expect that they run. They run the USBC Masters, which sold out within 15 minutes of online entries. The US Open, the Women's US Open, those events sold out very well. The USBC Senior Queens, we had the USBC Senior Championships, a lot of different events that they're running. All of them had impressive numbers. And then also to add on to that, Team USA trials. And next up, make sure to sit down. We have the controversial parts of the report, and that is the other events that USBC was going through in 2025, which included their urethane ban and included string pin setters. Their urethane ban, all they did was discuss the ruling that they put out a couple of months ago with the hardness and with starting in January 26, all of the different events that now cannot throw either the soft urethanes or urethane at all. They don't go into much detail of what they're looking at in this in 2026, just saying these were starting efforts and they'll be continuing to research it very, very deeply, which was known because they'll be bringing durometers to major events and they'll be testing a lot of bowling balls. They did something really interesting in the string pin setter portion. They posted a report that I actually didn't see that went out in November of 2025, where they discussed the average differences of people on free fall machines versus string pin machines. After going through a ton of different bowlers and a ton of different averages in different centers, they noticed that on average, string pin setters lowered your average by about 3.5 pins. It was higher or lower based on the person that they saw. They said they had some cases where people were 10 pins over on string pin machines, but other times that they were 11 pins under. But on average, they were 3.5 pins lower on string machines than free fall, which is an interesting number to have. The report is really cool if you want to get into the statistics behind everything. So make sure to go check that out in the report if you want to see more. Next up, which is very normal in the terms of corporate America, were a ton of audits that came in. So USBC was audited by the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, and then also by Safe Sport. Both of these passed with no problems. There was a ton of hours put into them. As a guy who has seen audits before, they are not fun to go through. USBC went through 2 of those in 2025, passed them both, and will be good for a couple more years before their next audit. Coming up next, we're going into the youth side of things and the coaching side. First of all, we started with smart money. For anyone who's not aware, youth bowlers are not allowed to actually make cash money at tournaments that they compete in. However, they make what's called smart money. This is money that gets put into an account for them that USBC holds, and then the kid can use that money for various college things, books, classes, tuition, whatever it may be. And it ended up being a record-setting $15 million was given out of smart funds in 2025. This is the highest there ever has been. So it shows that the youth tournament scene is growing more and more every single year. Coming up next is something I also did not know about, and that is USBC's Coach Plus program. So on the USBC website, bowl.com, you can actually dig into the Find a portion of their site to find a coach. This is a really nice feature where you can find coaches around your area with a ton of different criteria. And then what you can do actually with this Coach Plus portion is you can have easy ways to contact them. You can find the coaches that are available for lessons. So if you're somebody out there who wants to find a local coach, this is going to be the best way to do it. These are going to be USBC certified coaches who are available to take lessons. So it gives you some email addresses. I think I saw a few phone numbers as well. So you have easy ways to contact the coaches if you do want to get better. I like this program a lot. I've always had a problem with finding coaches in bowling, so this is a really cool thing. I don't know if this is new or not. If it is, like, kudos to USBC. This thing's awesome. Finally, they went into a little bit of Team USA bowling. If you want to see those results, make sure to go check out the report. It just showcased a couple tournaments and how they did, who was on the team, etc., etc. The next portion of the report is a very interesting one, and it goes into their marketing side of things and just the different technical things that USBC is doing and their overall numbers. Now, these ones I'm going to be reading directly off the page, so apologies for that. But 2025, USBC's marketing and technology teams worked hand in hand to enhance the visibility, accessibility, and storytelling of bowling. First part of this is about Bowl TV, the way that you can watch qualifying squads of a ton of different bowling tournaments across the nation. In Bowl TV, they peaked at 11,000 active subscribers total for last year. This probably peaks during the PBA season because that is the only way you can watch PBA qualifying events. So 11,000 total members there. It doesn't say if that's higher or lower than previous years. I'd have to go back in other reports to see. But going on, Bowl TV is still doing what it's doing, nothing different there. Another major milestone came with the launch of the Bowl.com mobile app. This is a very cool thing that I haven't looked at yet, but they do have their own mobile app now. This is going to be an easy way for you guys to be able to know your average, your USBC card number, all of that stuff, and bring it with to tournaments. One of the biggest issues was the card that I actually have next to me is an actual card from USBC, which is fine, but it's easy to lose. So if you want just the mobile app, just know your login, you're good to go. And finally, one of the big technology things was online registration. So if you weren't aware, in the early days of the season where you have to fill out a sheet of paper for your league with your email, your address, all that fun stuff, and you have to do it multiple times depending on what USBC association you're in. Well, USBC has an online way that you can skip all that and just go through an easy, quick way. So if you were not aware, make sure your league secretaries are aware of that so you don't have to fill out those stupid sheets at the beginning of the year, but USBC has a way that you can actually see it. And then otherwise, USBC has a couple other cool technology things for tournaments where you can sign up for tournaments early as well. And finally, we look towards 2026, starting with the tournament side. As of January 26th, there are already 11,000 teams signed up for the Reno Open Championships. That is a really good number for Reno. Like I mentioned earlier, Reno usually doesn't have that many teams, but we're seeing an increase. So if you aren't signed up, make sure to sign up quick. And if you do want to bowl it, go find 4 other teammates, go bowl. I highly recommend it. It's a very fun event. Reno can be a fun place as well. Vegas is a little more fun in my opinion, but Reno still has some good quirks. So if you want to go bowl it, there's already 11,000 teams, so I'm guessing spots are very, very tough to find. And overall, to end the report, they had a couple different things about technology. What I mentioned previously about being able to sign up for your USBC and renew your membership is being pushed more and more online. Last year, 100,000 members, so almost 10% of total USBC members, did their stuff online. Now, a lot of people aren't aware of this feature, so I'm hoping that number continues to increase because it's so much easier than spending 5 minutes writing on that lovely piece of paper all of the little info about yourself, because it adds in a lot of problems with a secretary where they might read your name wrong. I've had that happen once before where they misspelled my name and I had 2 USBC numbers for a year. That was not very fun. And then to round everything out, they did state that USBC dues national-wide are not going to increase until 2029 or potentially later. They're looking at their monetary amounts, what they have in the bank, and they're seeing that they don't have to increase any membership dues until a couple of years from now, potentially later, probably depending on how the Open Championships do, how membership does, etc., etc. So that's a very good sign because we can't have less money in USBC. That means less money goes into those tournaments. Less money goes into Junior Gold, USBC Masters, US Open, all the other things that we mentioned. So that is overall a good sign. That is everything that was on the 2025 State of the Association from USBC. If you want a link to the report, I'll have it down below in the description. If you have any questions on anything that I mentioned, please put them down in the comments. Now, while this isn't the most exciting thing in the world, it's still a good thing to understand where the USBC and where bowling as a whole is at in 2025 going into 2026, because that's very important for us as members to be aware of. We're hoping to see more and more growth over the coming months and coming years, and hopefully we really get to see that. I did forget to mention there was a piece about college bowling that saw another increase in teams and total members. So we are seeing the youth movement get stronger and stronger. We just now need to convert that to the adult movement to get that stronger and stronger. So make sure to go get some people in the USBC leagues. Make sure to go just join some leagues. It's always a great time. Get some guys who maybe just bowl open play and want to take that step further. Bring them into some leagues, into some tournaments, whatever it may be. Great way to help grow the sport. But otherwise, that is everything I have for today. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoy little news segments like this, and I will see you all on the next one.